Do SR4U laces make you jump higher? I almost hit my head. Hello and welcome to another SR4U Q A. Your interesting football boot related questions and my answers to them, all pulled from my Instagram, which is SR4U_Josh. So if you're not following me there already and you perhaps have a question that you'd like me to answer in a future Q&A episode, make sure you go follow me there. It is linked down below. If you guys enjoy the Q&A series on the channel and want to see it continue, don't forget to support this one with a like. And with that said, let's get right into the questions. Tips on how to do volleys. Not that I consider myself to be an expert at volleys by any stretch of the imagination. But my experience when it comes to effectively hitting a volley, meaning that it's on target with a decent amount of pace, I wouldn't even say that I'm at a level where I'm hitting a volley and confidently hitting the top left corner or something like that. I'm just trying to get it on goal. But what I really focus on with a volley is not the power at all. I just want to have a smooth swing of my leg that is a little bit slower, and I'm really focusing on the contact with the ball and my foot. The cleaner your contact can be, typically the more accurate and the more consistent you'll be able to hit a volley. I think also practicing as much as possible, getting as many reps in as you can, is definitely going to help in improving your ability to volley the ball. But in general, focus more so on technique and ball contact rather than power, because if you try to swing at it as hard as you can, you're either A, going to miss the ball, or 2, send it to the moon. Trust me, I would know. How long before a match do you usually eat? I found this question really interesting because it's not something that I would normally talk about on this channel, but it is something that I really struggled with through my teens and kind of early men's league days, because I was super competitive and I knew that putting the proper food in your body would have a big impact on performance. And I played around with so many different foods, and I always found that it was very difficult for me to feel good going into a match based on what I ate. So I tried like chicken and pasta and all kinds of different things. And honestly, nothing ever really felt like it stood out to me for a very long time. I would always try to eat about 2 hours prior to playing because I kind of liked to go into the match almost feeling a little bit empty. I hated having the sensation of like food sitting in my stomach. But I would say at like 19, 20 years old, I decided that I would just have some McDonald's chicken nuggets before a match. 2 hours before a match, that's what I would eat. And I know that's a terrible meal choice, but it was something that I wouldn't eat a lot, but when I did eat it, I never felt heavy, and I felt like, hey, I could run around right now and not feel like I'm going to throw up. I didn't have the sensation that I was looking for. So for about a year and a half, 2 hours before a match, I would run over to a McDonald's and eat some chicken nuggets, and that was my pregame meal. I don't do that anymore. I'm not as competitive as I used to be, or I don't play as competitively as I once did. But 2 hours before a match is pretty much my answer. Chicken nuggets. Nice. What's the weirdest colorway you've seen on a boot? I think we pretty much live in the age of weird football boot colorways, because that's really what the industry is all about these days. But the one that comes to mind was, I believe it was a Yamamoto thing, the original F50.6 Tune-It. I'm not even sure if this ended up releasing. I know that they were extremely limited, but they did this animal pack where the box it came in, and I'm not sure if this was a press kit, I'm going to try and find some pictures for you guys, was actually an animal cage, and there was, I want to say, a bear, maybe there was a shark. There was a couple different animals, but the boots were just super, super weird looking. We got a Yamamoto F50 Adi Zero, the 2014 edition, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of had the dragon, and it was like a mismatched boot. They were kind of weird looking, but at the same time kind of cool. This was far weirder though, and that really stands out to me as being one of the weirdest looking boots ever. I also want to give an honorable mention to the T90 Laser 3 from Nike launch colorway, the ones that were green with the black swoosh and the red pods on the front. They really reminded me of Ninja Turtles, and I'm not even into Ninja Turtles, so I'm not sure why I made that connection, but I always thought that was a really weird looking pair of football boots and a very weird colorway. Also, do you guys remember that tan and Volt yellow TechCraft pack from Nike? Terrible. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion. In fact, I know it is, but the launch bright mango colorway for the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8, when those came out and I saw them in person, I thought that was one of the weirdest colorways ever, but people really, really loved it. And to this day, I think it's one of the most popular Mercurial colorways of all time. However, I thought it was weird. So what do I know? Does it become dangerous to wear laceless boots for a long time? I think what you're implying here is that laceless boots over time will stretch a little bit, and perhaps they'll get to a point where they're so loose where there's now instability in the football boot, therefore potentially putting yourself at a higher risk of like an ankle injury or something like that. And that, I guess, is entirely possible, but I wouldn't say that a pair of laceless boots that you've been wearing for a year are now dangerous versus what they were a year ago. They've probably stretched a little bit, but pretty much every pair of football boots, laceless or not, is going to stretch a little bit. So I don't think, given the fact that pretty much all the laceless boots are utilizing some kind of a stretchy material to begin with, the instability in the boot is going to be there from day one. I wouldn't really worry too much about the longevity of it. If you don't really like instability or stretch in the upper of your football boots, you probably shouldn't be wearing laceless football boots in the first place. Phantom Venom Academy or Vapor 13 Academy? This is a really common question that I get, mainly because whatever is the $80 Mercurial at the time tends to be pretty much the most popular football boot on the market, and understandably so, because everyone wants speed boots. But in the case of the Vapor 13 Academy, which is by no means bad, and the Phantom Venom Academy, which retails for the exact same $80, the Phantom Venom Academy uses a Nike Skin upper that is not quite like the OG Hypervenom Phantom 1 that so many people love, but it's definitely along those lines in terms of the type of material and the type of construction, and you're getting that on an $80 football boot versus the Vapor 13 Academy that uses what is admittedly a cheaper, more plasticky feeling synthetic material. So if you're asking me, I would definitely go Phantom Venom Academy. The quality is better, the fit is better, the touch on the ball is better. I just feel like you're getting the better quality product for the same amount of money. And as far as speed boots go, you're actually getting a more aggressive firm ground stud pattern, and in terms of weight, they're very, very similar. So the reason why you'd buy the Mercs over the Phantom Venoms, there really isn't many reasons to do that. I don't know what happened there. Do you have any signed boots or jerseys? I guess it's just not something that I'm really into. I understand why it would be cool to have something that Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo signed, because they physically touch that item that you have to put their signature on it. But it's never been something that really meant a lot to me. I would much rather have a signed boot than a signed jersey, but in general, I'd rather have a pair of like match-worn boots, signed or not, having custom variations of exactly what the pros wear. To me, that's something that's really cool. I have a couple of those, some of which I have made videos on, some of which I plan on making videos on. But to me, if I were like collecting some kind of sports memorabilia, if that's the category that we're going to put this in, I would go after match-worn boots more than anything. Hey, Sir Joshua, what is your opinion on the leaks on the new Predator? For those that might have missed it, I just recently put out a video talking about the upcoming Predator 20 Plus that's been worn in blackout form by a couple different pros in training. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen. They look pretty interesting, but since that video has gone up, there have been some, let's say, very good leaked images of the next generation Predator, both the laceless and laced variations. And I have to say that I'm really, really excited. I can't really talk in too much detail about these images, and I certainly can't show them to you, but I'm sure you guys have seen them, and I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I think they look really cool, and I'm very excited for them. There is a very strong chance that we might actually get a proper Predator from Adidas again. What other sports will you do besides soccer? Football, not soccer. So I guess I'll give you my full sports history. The first sport that I ever played was soccer, and I played that from like age 3, 4, whatever the first year you could play for just like the organized house league, and I've pretty much played ever since. From there, as I got a little bit older, I played a lot of road hockey. I'm Canadian, for those that don't know, and hockey is obviously a very big sport in Canada, but I didn't really play ice hockey. I just played street hockey in my driveway with the neighborhood kids. There's some interesting stories to go along with that, but we're not going to talk about that in this particular video. And then at 12 years old, maybe it was 11 years old, right around that age, I started playing ice hockey, and I played that at a pretty good level, and I still play ice hockey today, although not very seriously anymore. And that's pretty much it, soccer and ice hockey. Do you double sock? 95% of the time, I do not double sock. The only time I will is when I have to play in the winter time and it is ridiculously cold outside, below freezing, let's say, and I want to have an extra pair of socks, 1 for the extra padding, 2 for the extra warmth, and 3 for the little bit of extra comfort because my boots will be frozen. So double socking is very much a personal preference thing. It's not really a rule that needs to be followed. If you like it, continue to do it. If you don't like it, there's no need to do it. It's something that you can try out for free. So if you find that maybe you're just not super comfortable in your boots for whatever reason, having that little bit of extra padding from a second pair of socks is definitely something to try out. But for me personally, I'd rather not wear 2 pairs of socks if I don't have to. Is the quality/life in elite models better than first takedowns, or do you just pay for extra performance benefits? So basically what he's asking here is, along with the better quality materials and the supposed performance benefits that come along with a top end, more expensive pair of football boots, are you also getting better durability? And that is really going to depend on the specific boots. But I would say as a general rule of thumb, more expensive football boots are actually going to be less durable. And the reason for that, especially when you're talking about modern day football boots, is that part of what you pay for with a higher end product is thinner and lighter and softer materials. And all of those things don't necessarily make for a more durable product. Now, some of the exceptions to this rule would be like the made in Japan Mizuno products. I think that those are some of the most durable football boots that you can get, but they're also some of the most expensive. But in general, would I bet on a top-end Vapor 13 Elite outlasting a low-end Vapor 13 Academy? Probably not. I think the Academy, with its cheaper, slightly thicker, slightly more, I guess, rugged materials, while the touch and fit and performance is not going to be as good, the durability is probably going to be better. But it's also important to note that durability is very unpredictable. A lot of people like to ask me, if I buy these boots, specifically, how long will they last me? And the answer to that question is that nobody really knows unless you have a crystal ball and you're an actual psychic. I am not one of those people. So if you buy a pair of boots, you can hope for them to last as long as possible. If you take care of them properly, hopefully that will extend the life of the boots, but ultimately nobody knows. But to answer the question, typically high-end boots will not last longer than cheaper low-end boots. Anyways, guys, that's it for yet another SR4U Q A. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in an upcoming Q&A episode, make sure you go and follow me on Instagram, SR4U_Josh. You see it on screen right now. It is also linked down below. If you have any questions regarding anything that was discussed in this video, leave that down below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.